From a small island nation to the largest empire the world has ever seen, the story of the British Empire is one of exploration, conquest, exploitation, and legacy. Join us as we delve into the rise and fall of an empire upon which the sun never set. Chapter 1. The Seeds of Expansion. The origins of the British Empire trace back to the late 16th century during the reign of Queen Elizabeth I. Motivated by the successes of Spanish and Portuguese explorers, England sought to expand its horizons through exploration and trade. In 1588, the defeat of the Spanish Armada marked a turning point, establishing England as a formidable naval power. Explorers like Sir Francis Drake and Sir Walter Raleigh embarked on voyages that laid the groundwork for overseas colonies. Chapter 2. Establishing footprints across the globe. In 1607, England established its first permanent colony in the New World at Jamestown, Virginia. This was soon followed by the Pilgrims landing at Plymouth in 1620. Meanwhile, in the Caribbean, colonies like Barbados and Jamaica became lucrative centers for sugar production, relying heavily on the transatlantic slave trade. The East India Company, founded in 1600, began establishing trading posts in India and Southeast Asia, setting the stage for future dominance in these regions. Chapter 3. Wars and independence movements. The 18th century was marked by intense rivalry between European powers. The 7 Years' War from 1756 to 1763 saw Britain emerge victorious over France, gaining control over Canada and significant influence in India. However, the American colonies grew increasingly resentful of British taxation without representation, leading to the American Revolutionary War from 1775 to 1783. The loss of the 13 colonies was a significant blow to British prestige, but did not deter further expansion elsewhere. Scene 4. The Raj and the Jewel in the Crown. Post-American independence, Britain focused on strengthening its hold over India. The East India Company expanded its control through a mix of diplomacy and military force. In 1857, the Indian Rebellion, also known as the Sepoy Mutiny, challenged British authority. The brutal suppression of the revolt led to the dissolution of the East India Company and the establishment of direct British rule over India, known as the British Raj. India became known as the Jewel in the Crown, providing immense wealth and resources to the British Empire. Scene 5. The Scramble for Africa and Global Dominance. The late 19th century saw European powers competing for control over Africa in what is known as the Scramble for Africa. At the Berlin Conference of 1884–85, Africa was partitioned without consideration for indigenous cultures and boundaries. Britain secured vast territories, including Egypt, Sudan, South Africa, Nigeria, and Kenya. These colonies were exploited for their natural resources and strategic importance, further expanding British global dominance. Chapter 6. The Empire Under Fire. World War I tested the might of the British Empire, with troops from across its colonies contributing to the war effort. Despite emerging victorious, the war strained Britain's economy and sowed seeds of discontent among its colonies. World War II further weakened the empire. The massive human and economic costs, coupled with the rise of nationalist movements, made it increasingly difficult for Britain to maintain control over its colonies. Chapter 7. Winds of Change. In 1947, India and Pakistan gained independence after a prolonged struggle, marking the beginning of the end for the British Empire. Throughout the 1950s and 60s, numerous African and Caribbean colonies achieved independence. The Suez Crisis in 1956 further exposed Britain's diminishing global influence. By the late 20th century, most British colonies had gained independence, leading to the transformation of the empire into the Commonwealth of Nations, a voluntary association of independent states. Chapter 8. A Complex Legacy. The British Empire left a profound and complex legacy. The English language became a global lingua franca, and British legal and political systems were adopted worldwide. However, the empire also left scars of exploitation, racial tensions, and arbitrary borders that continue to affect former colonies today. The Commonwealth serves as a reminder of shared history and ongoing cooperation among nations once under British rule. The history of the British Empire is a tale of ambition and domination, innovation and exploitation, unity and division. Understanding this history is crucial to comprehending many of the political and social dynamics that shape our world today. Thank you for joining us on this journey through time. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Breakpoint for more insightful content. Leave a comment below on what historical topic you'd like us to cover next.